Iraqi Prime Minister Mustafa al-Kadhimi headed to Washington for his first meeting with President Donald Trump, amid a spate of attacks on American targets by pro-Iranian militias in Baghdad. Standing alongside Iraqi Foreign Minister Fuad Hussein, Secretary of State Mike Pompeo was asked if there was a timetable for a reduction of the 5,000 U.S. troops in Iraq. Pompeo declined to answer the question directly, urging a different focus.
The real focus is on the joint efforts that we're making along every dimension, whether that's economic efforts, humanitarian assistance efforts, security assistance, all of those things. We continue to understand that the Iraqi people need that. The Iraqi people's sovereignty depends on a continued American commitment to support them and provide that assistance to them. We're determined to do that.
Pompeo went on to call on the Iraqi government to rein in surging attacks by pro-Iranian militias, while pledging more than $200 million in additional humanitarian aid. The Secretary of State also said the U.S. will soon submit a complaint to the UN Security Council against Iran of not complying with the international nuclear deal. The goal is to trigger a return of all UN sanctions on Iran. Pompeo was asked how Washington could enforce the sanctions without the Council's backing after it rejected last week a U.S. resolution to extend an arms embargo on Iran.
You have to remember, 2231 isn't a U.S. document. It is a UN Security Council document. It has a set of provisions, it has a set of rights and obligations, and we will be in full compliance with that, and we have every expectation that every country in the world will live up to its obligations.
Amid the push to hit Iran with punitive sanctions, Jared Kushner, Trump's senior advisor and son-in-law, left the door open for talks with Iran in an interview with VOA.
There's always an offer to meet. President Trump is, he thinks more like a businessman than a politician. Politicians think in very, technical terms. They're afraid to take a meeting. President Trump says, I'll always take a meeting, but he's not going to pay for a meeting.
But in a televised address late last month, Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, said Tehran will expand its nuclear program and will not negotiate with the United States. Some experts say the Trump administration may be seeking a foreign policy success on Iran ahead of the November elections. Cindy Sain, VOA News, Washington.